That's right. It's time for the live launch, and we're here with John and Darren getting ready to kick this off because the kid in the comic is the way we've been, and it's the way it should be, and it's the way that we need to get those kids into comics now. Dude, I really feel like this is a great project. I say it all the time. I feel like the industry kind of forgets that kids are the future of comics, and they kind of forget about the kids. And it's not like it used to be where you can pick up any comic and just read it as a kid. Now, you have to be careful which book you're picking up because some books are just too mature for the kids to read.
Well, it's funny because this isn't originally even made for kids. This was made for adults who are missing something from their childhood, right? But as it trended, we figured out that we could kind of bridge a gap there
Yeah.
and make take both audiences, merge them together, and looking at the first bit of content that we have through all of this, I don't think there's much prohibitive about who would be able to read this, to be honest with you.
But see, that's the point, though. When we were kids, we didn't have to read a different book for kids. I was reading the Fantastic Four, and I was reading the super nuclear whatever words were in the Fantastic Four, and I'd be like, dude, what the heck does that mean? And I'd go to the dictionary to find out what those words meant, but it was the same book the adults were reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always throwing around the word invulnerable. That was my favorite,
It's the first time I heard Excelsior was from Stan Lee, so
Still don't know what it means. Not gonna lie.
Well,
No clue.
what bugged me out the most was then I found out that Excelsior is the freaking New York statement.
It's a state, like a New York thing.
Yeah, it's like the big word for New York or something like that. I forget the New York motto is Excelsior or something like that. And I found that out, and I was like, oh wait, Stan's been in New York for a while. Okay, a lot of this is making sense.
Gotcha. Well, let's tell you a little bit about what this actually is for those who don't know.
Go for it. 'Cause I know somebody's out there going, what are they talking about? Why are
Right.
they keeping it out already?
Excelsior, what?
We're going to tell you all about this thing that hasn't quite launched yet.
So what the product essentially is it's a newspaper. It's pretty cool. It's a real newspaper. When I say that, people are like, oh, so I can read it online. Well, yeah, I mean, you will be able to eventually, but no, it's actually a newspaper that you hold in your hands, and it's the birth of a funny story that happened. It was in the middle of COVID, okay, and everything shut down. And funny thing is, Darren was one of the first artists I had reached out to. I maybe had a couple, maybe 10 or so before that, and I started reconnecting with my comic book roots. And as a result, I started recollecting comics and started collecting comic art. Well, I can't afford to spend an 11 by 17 sheet of art from good artists, and okay, maybe I can buy 2 a year, right? It's not cheap, and rightfully so. Their work is excellent.
No, it's not. It's pretty expensive. When you're trying to get stuff from real artists, it's really expensive because it's their work and you're getting it from them.
Yeah. So I ended up making up these posters. They're 11 by 17 posters. Anybody who knows me has seen them posted on my page. And they have a little spot in the middle, only about 4 by 4 inches that you could sketch on. So the reason I bring this up as far as a kid in the comic goes, because over COVID and during that time frame, I started to develop these relationships with artists, reaching out to them, see if I could do a poster for them, send it to them, get them back, so on and so forth. I think I'm over 200 now at the end of the day. Well, fast forward to collecting comics. Sometime in August, I was bagging and boarding a few books that I had picked up, and I had a key in my hand, not a big key, not a big deal, right? But it just shows you how we get wrapped up in this stuff. And I dropped it right. Look, that face right there. That's exactly why. Right. So I dropped it right on the corner, and it mushed it all up. Big old spine tick. And I cursed out loud. I was just pissed off. And then I thought, my 10-year-old self would kick the crap out of me right now for thinking this is even remotely what comic collecting is about. So that's when the idea kind of sparked. What about doing something? What was the feeling? What was the vibe that I'm missing from being a kid? It's a bowl of cereal. It's the Saturday morning cartoons and the Sunday funnies. Well, I didn't know anything about animation, so as it started to generate and time became more available to me around December, I thought about this idea, and I thought, let's put together a newspaper. It can be subscription based, and we can get it out to everybody, and it can just be fun. Games, comics, all different types of genre. And then I started to reach out to a couple of people. I reached out to Darren fairly early in the process, and I'm not going to lie, I was really surprised at the response. He was excited. You can tell him how that conversation went, Darren.
Yeah, it's I knew that John and I had a lot in common because number one, he had me draw Jay Garrick, the original Flash.
Oh, I like Jay.
And I like the old stuff. I like a wide range of things, but drawing Jay Garrick, I'm like, okay, cool. And we would just talk shop. And then he had mentioned that he was putting this project together. And for me, it probably comes from a lot of the guys I learned from, my mentors, my teachers, like Joe Kubert, Erwin Hazen, John Romita. Yeah, I'm going to drop some names. But those guys were inspired, and they wanted to be adventure strip artists, and that you definitely catch that. And as far as myself, coming in the 80s and 90s, it's like, well, getting into the newspapers was just getting tougher and tougher. But I always liked the format. I did try to pitch kind of a comedy strip with a guy that was connected to one of the syndicates, and it didn't get accepted. And it's like, yeah, that happens. Sometimes you pitch stuff, it doesn't happen. But it was always, I think I'd mentioned to John that I'd actually talked to some friends of mine, like, let's do a newspaper comic strip. Let's do the funnies. No news. Nobody wants the news anymore.
Dude, man, as a kid, that would have been my dream, a newspaper with just funnies.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm thinking of it like, well, newsprint, the printing of it would probably be a hell of a lot cheaper than doing, say, a comic book or graphic novel project. Not necessarily, I found out, but and he asked me if I wanted to check stuff out as it came in. And man, especially the last few days.
Oh boy.
It's just been such a blast. And I haven't been doing anything other than working on my own stuff and commissions. I haven't done anything like editorially or anything resembling being an art director in, like 20 years. So getting back into that and just talking to these other folks on the phone, throwing ideas around. And it's good too, because Scott Hanna, I've known him forever. We used to talk when I worked at Marvel, and he would come in and drop off pages. I'm a part of this, but I'm also excited to read this stuff,
And I gotta tell you, man, he's downplaying this. Like, how cool is it for an everyday guy? Like, I know what I'm good at, right? I'm pretty organized. I can see concepts and I can put the puzzle pieces together.
Right.
But the important thing is having the people around you that know what the heck they're doing and do it well. And I got former art department director of Marvel as my advisory editor. Hello. That's pretty.
That's amazing, right there.
Pretty freaking cool. Yeah,
dude. I gotta tell you, the more I looked into the project so I can get ready for the show, the more excited I got. I was like, "Whoa, this is really looks good." then part of me starts going, all right, I'm not sure how much money this is yet, but maybe I should start finding some money.
Well, so that's the whole thing. We tried to make it, tried to make it really reasonable. I mean, okay, so what do you this is the average price of a book is $5-6 right now, right? Comic book. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a subscription for an entire year. Now, a year consists of 7 issues. It's a bi-monthly subscription.
Right.
But we're also adding a big holiday issue in there too. I always liked when there was something extra. You got that special thing around the holidays or whatever, and
we always love that stuff, especially the holiday stuff.
Man. Yeah, extra content and all that stuff. So that's 7 issues for the year. It's gonna be $39.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then you pay for shipping for the year. Yeah, it's $14 for shipping for the year. So you're walking out the door at about just a couple bucks over $50 for the entire year, shipped right to your door.
That's pretty decent, man. Yeah, it's not that bad. We tend to throw that much on one book.
Oh yeah, there's no two ways about it. Yep, sure do.
Especially with Kickstarters these days.
And for the most part, what we've got put together so far, it's the equivalent of a nice, juicy Sunday strip, like the old adventure strips. There's a lot of story in it. I think you're, as far as like thinking of it as like the newspaper funnies, unfortunately, the funnies shrank and we're kind of stretched out like a lot of comic book projects now. The issues get stretched out so that this one story can then be a trade paperback.
Yep.
One of the things John was watching out for right from the beginning was, no, I want a nice chunk of story in each episode. And that's what we're seeing. These folks have been great.
You don't even know what's about to hit. I mean...
I can give excitement.
Well, no, I mean, for instance, okay, we got obviously who Riley Brown is. Riley and his first grade son, Will, are writing.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about this.
A strip together. Mm-hmm. We just got the first finished strip in, I think it was today or yesterday. Mm-hmm. Absolutely blown away. And I mean, blown away. It's something that you wished for since you were a kid. It's that old Bronze Age, and oh yeah, it's flipping awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's just one of them too.
Look at all these people. Yeah. You really went out there, and it's funny though. But you told me some of these people came looking for you.
Well, after a while, they did. Yeah, that's the funny thing because it didn't. So if I'm being honest. It took me about reaching out to 20, 25 people to get somebody to say yes. And somebody who's not even on the book is one of the biggest reasons I have some of my people now, because it was Bob Hall. Bob had early committed on the book, and he said, yeah, I'd like to do this. This sounds like a great idea. It turned out that he couldn't, or it just, wasn't the right timing for him. But when you talk to somebody else, everybody wants to know who's on the book, right?
Right.
Let's face it, I'm a nobody. They don't know who I am. So it adds validity. It adds some credibility. So one person goes, well, Bob's on the book, and I'm going to try this or this or this. And then, Bill Morrison signed on. Bill's a big name, has a big following, especially, both in animation and in comics. And then Darren, bless his soul, went to a Comic-Con and talked to both Scott Hanna, right? And I talked to Scott on the phone, then Scott talked to Riley Brown, right? And then both Scott and Darren talked to Len Danovich. So
you just talking to your convention buddies a lot of times. And we're gonna try something. And sometimes that scares people off, but pretty much these guys that have signed on, they're like, yeah, I want to do my own strip, and that's that's a hell of a lot better than, you know, I'll hire you to do a strip that you're kind of into. Yeah, they're going to be professional. They're going to do a good job. But man, you could tell these are their babies coming up, you
Dude,
know.
that's what you want to see is that
Yep.
passion. And you got a whole newspaper full of passion.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, and so here's what you don't know too is that, you know, well, you may know, but the big deal and the reason why, because look, I could not afford to pay all of these fantastic artists to do a strip, right?
Yeah.
So one of the big things that makes us a little different is they keep and retain all of their rights to all of the items. So we have a single print license, basically a contract that protects all their IP rights. Whatever they do here is theirs. They keep it. They don't transfer any ownership. I don't have any usage
That's pretty
rights.
good.
You know, it's set up for the artist's benefit.
It's also that you know, if you want to try something somewhere, this would be the perfect place to try it.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've resurrected some old products. We've talked to a couple of people who ran, you know, their IPs, you know, up to 8-10 years. We have one strip in there by John Holland, the strip or the original comic ran in 1987.
Nice.
And it's fantastic. It's called Lizards. The art is fantastic, and now that it's colored, it's even cooler. It's an endearing story. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
It is great to see, like, you know, like some of these folks have strips they've been doing for a while, like Glenn Whitmore's strip. He's been self-publishing for years, so it's got an audience. And it's great to have that as part of the package, you know, being part of the paper with Captain Clockwork. And what I'm getting a kick out of, it's kind of like as a teacher, I used to help out students who are doing all kinds of different strips. I've always liked all kinds of different comics, not just, you know, Marvel, the long underwear folks. And this one, we've got some great comedy. We've got some wacky stuff from young creators. I mean, wacky in a good way. And we got adventure. We got horror. We didn't tell anybody what we want from you is a fill in the genre. We want you to do what you want to do. And it just so happened to work out really nice to where we got a nice range of different types of stories.
You know what surprised me is how many of the big artists immediately had interest in doing a horror suspense strip. It's like, I've been doing superheroes for 30 years. I want something a little more gritty. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And some that didn't end up doing it, but their first question was, hey, do you have any spots in your horror section? Because the middle layout, the centerfold of the paper, is all black and white and horror. And when I say horror, it's not gore, right? It's not.
It's classic horror. It's that horror we saw as a kid.
Yeah.
It had the story, had the moral.
It's creepy. It's more Twilight Zone than it is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it too, to me, reminds me of Universal films and Hammer horror movies where, we're not going for the slasher stuff. You know, John had the idea from the get-go, and I agree with it. You know, this paper, the whole family can have it. And, you know, even our horror section, it's not going to traumatize little Junior or little Jamie. You know, they'll be okay with this stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and I did get in a conversation with somebody. They're like, well, you know, some of that is a little bit adult. I said, a little bit of it is, but I remember as 10 years old, and maybe been a little younger, seeing Hank Pym slap Janet across the face. Remember that?
Yeah.
That like stuck with me. And Tony Stark, you know, having alcohol problems. And
see, but it was still kid friendly because those were big issues. but it's stuff that we were already seeing out there, so it kind of balanced
Yeah.
itself out.
This guy looks like Uncle Jim.
Yeah. It's just like him, man. He
Right.
gets drunk like that all the time.
Hey, Jimmy,
As
is
a
that your
kid-
brand?
As a kid, you couldn't really understand why Bruce Banner was depressed, but that would be a tough life to have,
Right. Right.
As a kid, you're like, you mean I can knock over a building? Cool.
I can turn him into a monster anytime I want.
Yeah.
Cool. I remember that. I was like, "Where's Bruce always so depressed, man?" I love that thing.
That's fun.
But yeah, you can do stuff that touches upon real life. We're avoiding the preachies. We're gonna have some fun with this stuff.
But see, that goes back to the way stories were told before. You may have had some kind of issue or something in the story, but it was more. It was just part of the story. It wasn't the story. It was something that was being told as part of the story. Nowadays it feels to me like it's all about whatever they're trying to tell you the story about, instead of the story just flowing naturally and you having an issue like alcoholism in it.
Mm-hmm. It's all in how it's put together.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, coming from a comic book veteran, I think a lot of the current teams, they're kind of pushed and they're in the middle of a storyline, and then they get hit with, oh yeah, next month is Crisis on Death World, Cosmic, the end of everything, and you have to put that into your ongoing story. And that can really trip a team up as far as any kind of subtlety, any kind of continuity. I mean, it's always been the case with, say the big two or the big three, but now it just seems like it's even tougher. And I think that's also what makes something like this appealing.
See, it's funny that you say that, because originally, like we were talking in the green room, when Secret Wars first came out, when Crisis first came out, you could go read Secret Wars and Crisis. Maybe there was some kind of effects in the books themselves, but you didn't have to read either one to know what was going on.
Right.
Now, I still read a lot of books, and trying to, and I'm not going to name it, but there was a recent event in one of the big two that happened, and it drove me absolutely mad because I'm a little stickler for it, trying to figure out which book to read first and where, and what was the reading list. I was actually Googling the reading list for these comics to figure out how I should approach this. I don't think you should have to do that.
Yeah.
It's funny, Darren and I were talking about that in the green room as well, that before you had the continuity people, and they would make sure that you knew where to go, which book to read, what's going on. If you're interested in this character they're talking about called Daredevil, go read Daredevil and you'll see who this person is. And those little things helped out. And most of the time you'd go and look at that book to see what the heck, oh, let me go check it out. But the good thing was that you didn't have to go check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I, as a fan, like especially Marvel was known for it, the footnotes, like, this happened in issue, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I remembered in high school, I saved my money. And back when you could almost afford old comics, I went to the Marvel Con in 76, and I pretty much bought like all the back issues of Avengers.
Ooh.
And it was so cool to read those, well, just to have them and read them, but to see those footnotes and it all connected.
Yeah.
And you got the backstories that you might have seen in reprints. I don't think anybody was better at universe building, and and showing you, when I was talking to Ralph before, it was like, it's cool to see like Spider-Man swinging by and here comes Thor, just get out of the way, mortal.
Yeah.
And as a reader, you're like, who the hell was that? Like,
Exactly.
I got to find out about this guy.
Exactly.
And it was cool. And it was also a nice little commercial for a different character / property. It worked.
And that was a brilliant cameo. And actually, you're right. Somebody would be like, I want to know who this was.
Yeah.
And those cameos back then was like, you were all in New York City, so you might see in Spider-Man's book, Captain America fighting in the background, and Spider-Man just going to try to go do what he's supposed to go do. And those were the type of little cameos that would happen.
Okay, so for any of our artists out there listening right now, later on in the year, we're going to talk cameo appearances in other people's strips.
Sounds cool.
That would be kind of fun.
I love a crossover.
That'd be kind of fun. Anyways, so what? Well, gosh, we're 4 minutes away from launch here.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Nice.
everything's going and doing what it needs to do.
Well, it's live. It's a live show, so we can always play around.
Well, I have a fantastic web guy I've been working with that is working behind the scenes. He's telling me to confirm an email that I just can't find, so I'm in trouble already. I haven't done anything. So to kind of give you an idea, if it helps, give you a look at some of the people and what they're doing as far as strips go. Like Darren had mentioned, we've got Glenn Whitmore, who does a fantastic strip called Captain Clockwork. Okay. Now he's been doing that on his own for a while. And if you don't know about it, it's essentially a time traveling superhero who handles situations, before they happen or trying to keep them from happening or working on things. Very cool and great art. Has a really cool retro art feel to it. Rob Powers will be doing some previews of Penguinos, right? I got the same thing right here. A big shout out to Rob. I just got this in the mail today. Okay, this is Penguinos Revenge.
I've been waiting for this for a while.
Oh, I know. I got caught up in China when he was printing it out, but I got to tell you,
it's worth the wait.
It was worth the wait. It is so funny. So funny.
Now, I was impressed that you got them for the newspaper. And then I was like, wait, it's for kids? Then I was like, this should be interesting.
Well, Rob was very good at putting the stuff that was appropriate in the newspaper. It's obviously a very bloody, and there's some language in it and there, and absolutely hysterical, by the way. So I think people will get a small taste and really want to see more of Mr. Penguino. And then Bill Morrison, everybody's favorite Simpson artist, is now, I don't know if you know Roswell real well, his comic book Roswell. That was really popular.
Yeah.
But in Roswell, there was a comic book character in Roswell called Victor Victorious. And Victor Victorious is what this
I knew the name sounded familiar.
Yeah. So this whole strip is going to be Victor Victorious. So and that's just Scott Rosema. He's from Michigan area here and a longtime comic guy. He's doing Ulysses Star Smith. It's a space adventure in the line of the old Buck Rogers type thing. I know we have some sample art that we can kind of go through and show as we go. You know what though? We are at countdown mode here. I think we're inside.
Oh, we are. So, we are at 8:59 and counting down.
Nice.
So will this site that I'm on change the other site?
In theory, if you refresh it, in 36 seconds, in theory, you have to scroll down because we can't see the timer. We can only see the. There you go.
Look. Wait. I got to refresh. It says 14.
From my digital experience,
there we
go. Hit some buttons and see what happens.
16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Exciting, folks, isn't it? 4, 3, 2.
I think we got a lag. Hit the video.
Oh my God. Let's see. Is the video here? Is the video there? Where are we? All right, let's refresh and the video will probably appear. Ooh. Magic.
I think you got to hit the one I gave you.
All right. It looks like wait. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. All right. Let's do that video. Hold on 1 second, guys. Talk amongst yourselves as I look for the video. Isn't this the lovely thing about live? Sometimes you just have to like sit there and say things and be like, okay.
Hey, the lights are still on. We're doing okay.
Exactly. And here we go.
Change is always happening, every day. But I think we can agree not all change is good. It seems being an adult consumes us. And being a kid is just less kid. Introducing A Kid in a Comic, where we give you a gateway to a time when Saturday mornings were for cartoons, and Sundays meant the newspaper funnies. A Kid in a Comic is a subscription-based newspaper. That's right, a real newspaper, delivered to your door and your comic shop, filled with nothing but comic strips. Some of your favorite comic book artists have gotten together to tell their own stories with original art in this all-new creator-owned format. And just so you know our heart's in the right place, a portion of every subscription goes to the Hero Initiative and Inkwell Award Scholarship. Do you collect comics? Is this your reaction when your new book gets a little crease in it? Well, I think your 10-year-old self has an opinion of that. Kid in a Comic is meant to be read, with puzzles and games meant to be written on and art panels meant to be colored. Take it on a car ride, plane ride, or, well, you know. Side effects may include uncontrollable laughing, smiling, spooky scares, and an unexpected need to watch cartoons. A Kid in a Comic Inc. is not responsible for repercussions resulting in childish behavior, excessive reminiscing, or antics your old body can no longer handle.
All right. I just talked to my guy. There's a lag once you hit the launch button, so it's just going to take a couple of seconds here.
It's just the way it is. We got it.
If you have some of the graphics from or some of the logos, we can talk about the strips a little bit if you want, or
Sure.
however you want to do this to let people know what they're actually getting.
All right. Let's see where you are. I got you up here somewhere.
Oh, they probably don't know. This is a huge paper. When I mean huge, it's 13 by 18.
It's like those classic papers like the New York Times.
Oh, yeah. And then spread out, it's 26 by 18. It's huge. So
that is huge.
Yeah.
I remember those papers. Those ones the adults would read.
Yeah, unfortunately, the comic section and papers just kept shrinking and the strips kept shrinking. But we're going big.
That's what we got to do. We got to go big.
Yeah, it's oh, look at that. I see somebody's work right there in front.
Look at all this beautiful stuff, people.
Well, pick something and pull it up and let's take a look.
There we go. How can I not look into this?
I'm going to defer to the man himself to talk a little bit about his strip, Darren.
Well, thank you, sir. The strip I'm doing is called The Unknown. And I've been on a kick lately. I've been really interested in like supernatural investigation, all the creepy stuff. And see, this is also a chance for me, like, along with being a superhero guy, for me, like the old Warren comics, like Creepy and Eerie, the Marvel horror books, the DC horror books, that I just love that stuff. And I was ready to do something that was horror. And what this is about is there's a team of 3 people. They're actually they put together a web show, like a broadcast called The Unknown, and they go investigate supernatural things. The first one is going to be a haunted house, and the lead investigator, his name is Samuel Price, and it turns out he didn't know it when this first started, but he is personally invested in this investigation. And without giving it away too much, you see we're dealing with a witch here. This is part of a coven that may or may not have something to do with a traumatic event in his life.
Interesting.
And I'm also having fun with it because I get pulled into these YouTube shows about people investigating, Bigfoot and ghosts and UFO. I love this stuff. It's all
There's a lot of those
fuel.
shows out now. Yeah, I love those things too.
I mean, it's a miracle I don't have nightmares constantly. I just gobble this stuff up. And this is about, it starts out like, yeah, let's do this show and go check out some creepy stuff. Well, they step in some very creepy stuff that becomes it's a supernatural Armageddon type stuff. It gets really bad. And I'm having fun because I'm one of those creators that I've, I always joke I've got 48 projects in files. And I pitched one to John originally that was horror, but I couldn't see it for this format, like a Sunday adventure page per month.
Right.
So I pretty much started yet another project, and this is it. And it's, not trying to do a humble brag or a sales pitch here, but for me, it's coming together. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And the pieces are coming together. And that's all you can really ask for as a creator. And John and I, from the get-go, it's been great. Like, I've been blessed with great editors and art directors. John, I'll send him stuff and say, does this work? Does this make sense? And the communication has been fantastic, And I would say that even if he wasn't in the square up above me, I swear to God.
Well, I got no former editor training, but I know what I like as a reader, and sometimes that's the best.
That's half of it right there.
That does help out a lot, yeah. And who doesn't like a good supernatural type yarn, with ghosts and people trying to figure out what these supernatural things are. I love the supernatural. The show Supernatural was fantastic.
Yeah,
having Sam and Dean running around just hunting monsters.
Do you know what our horror section, the talent that our horror section consists of? So we got Darren. I mean, that's crazy in and of itself. But then we were lucky enough that Tony Harris is on doing Buffalo Monk, which is,
that already sounds so interesting.
it's a horror strip, Western style. All the characters are animals.
Oh yeah.
The sheriff is a silverback gorilla.
Yeah,
you got the thing in there, yeah.
I could just imagine the ghost of Carmine Infantino back in the Silver Age of DC saying, "Gorillas, good comics."
And then we were lucky enough to hook up with Powers Comics. Austin Huff is just a great guy, and he really wanted to be involved in the project. So he brought to the table Mike Gustevich and George Adamczyk, who did the Halloween Closet, which is another creepy strip that's really, really something else. I mean, it's, I don't know what you have there as far as, let's see, you should have a Halloween Closet logo. And then they're also bringing on Mike Lilly, Chris Ecker, and Bob Allman, who's doing Monster Hunter Hercules, which we just got a taste of, and that's amazing.
Monster Hunter Hercules. That's a mouthful.
It is. There's the gorilla, by the way.
That gorilla looks interesting. I got to put him up.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, man.
Dude, this reminds me of when I was growing up watching the old shows. Like the Long Ranger and stuff like this. Is the kind of costumes.
Yep.
And I've been a huge fan of Tony's even before like DC Starman. And when John told me that he signed up, I was like, you better not be messing with me. Don't tease me and tell me he's aboard.
Dude,
Yep.
the design on this stuff is amazing.
Yeah, Tony's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Monster Hunter Hercules is really cool too. It's very much like a Van Helsing type story,
Always up my alley.
It's great. It's Powers Comics came through big in that regard. What I can share with you is there was a promo sketch that Mike Lilly did of, it's kind of like a future cover or something.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
that says something. If he's already like, that was sweet, man.
So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'll share it with you real quick here.
And what's exciting about this too is, we've got some people with experience, and we've also signed on some people that they're kind of newcomers at this, and they're going to learn and do great stuff, and we're going to see the progression.
That's the good thing about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, while John is looking for it, so let's say somebody wants to work on one of these things. What do they need to have? Do they need to? If you're a writer, do you have to have an artist that's already working with you? Or if you're an artist and you need a writer, do you need to have to partner up with somebody? How does that whole thing work?
Well, John, is the publisher. He coordinates this stuff. What we did was, we wanted, he had a set launch date he was shooting for. So we went the easy route originally. Like he had said before, we just reached out to people we already knew, And of course, with that, we also wanted to try new talent out. Yeah, that's cool. And so we asked, sometimes nepotism works. You ask the people you know.
Exactly.
And they're tested, tried and true. But we also had some people that heard about it and reached out to us. And it was kind of an unknown factor. Like maybe I didn't know their stuff. And it started coming in, and you're like, it's all been a surprise. That's what's made it fun for me.
Well, I started putting out feelers, and then, got a lot of submissions. And if we're honest, not everything was a fit, right? Some people you just had to politely decline, and some people right on the edge where you could really see the promise. You could see, this looks really good. They needed a little nudge or a little tutelage, and it's tutelage I couldn't offer, maybe in the writing department or how I thought something should look. But then Darren stepped in and really does a good job mentoring, some of those people and helping with some coloring ideas and some layout ideas and, just some cool stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all, it's all the same process stuff. It's storytelling. And maybe somebody was working on something a while back, and maybe the action from panel 1 to panel 2 jumped too much. I'd send them a sketch, like, try this,
That's a nice way to do it.
Yeah. I'm not bossing anybody around. I'm throwing out suggestions, and we've been seeing some really great progress.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. So what else you got there? So we've got some lighter hearted stuff too. I mean, the horror section's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's black and white. It's really cool. But I mean, some of the other stuff that we have, just some of the other components I'd love to tell you about, like, Mark McKenna. Mark is a long time Marvel guy and stalwart of the business. And Mark has done a coloring page for us. So we have an entire 3/4 of a huge page that, and Mark offers a pro tip on there on how to do colors and things like that. So you can get right into it. I don't care if it's crayons or markers or colored pencils, go right at it and have a good time. And this
that sounds like a good time.
Like, it's not, the funny thing is, it's not like it ain't your kid's coloring book. It's You know what? Can I give Darren? Can I give a little away? Can I
Oh
give,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. I'm Jones in here, so I
And
got
you know what's cool too is Mark picked out pieces he had done that were pulled from mythology, which is really cool because it's like
I'm a big mythology guy, so that's right up my alley.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna pull the.
you
I'm gonna put the first page up here, the first coloring page for the first issue, and I'll do the spoiler. That's fine. I think people got to see what they're the type of stuff that the quality of stuff that they're getting here, which is absolutely just sick. So yeah, you're gonna like this a lot.
As John is doing that, you guys can see here that the page is finally up. It's looking good. It looks totally different than what it was when it was just a holding page.
Yep.
And there goes the video just streaming there beautifully.
Great. There we go.
Whoa,
look at that.
That's a coloring book.
Right. Little Medusa action there.
I already feel like I should pull out my coloring pencils and see how I can go with this.
Well, and on our social media, what we're going to do is we're going to have people send their finished colored product to us, and we'll have Mark pick his favorite each and every issue.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, we want to have a connection with, the fans and the followers, the subscribers.
Yep.
Speaking of that, have you considered doing a classic letters page? Because what better way to get the audience than to have them do the fun letters that we loved as a kid? When people would just write the craziest stuff.
Well, we may or may not have a spot on the end page that might house some of that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. For me, it's the debate would be maybe for the website we could run the letters page.
That's a good idea.
I don't know. I love letters pages too, and I think a lot of companies made the mistake of not having that connection.
Yeah, they got rid of them.
Printing them, and I would like to have it in the paper, but I look at it too like, but that could be another strip.
Real estate is a premium.
Yeah,
But I like your idea where you do a letters page on the internet. On the page, it also gives you a connectivity between the newspaper itself and the pages of, which is one of the things that I've been saying for a while, that I feel like magazines messed up because they didn't understand that the next step forward, the evolution to magazines, was to have stuff in the magazine and stuff online at the same time instead of just one or the other. I think it's been totally lost, where magazines were such a great thing, and now that they're completely almost gone because I think they took too long to figure out how they needed to be done.
How to connect them. Yeah,
exactly.
And what? Like anything new, John made it clear we were going to be adaptable. And he's like, if you could look into his lists, his files, he's got so many, like games, puzzles, different things. Should we put in like a single poster insert?
Ooh.
If people got ideas, we're willing to listen, and that's how these things grow.
If the people
actually listen to the people that are checking it out.
Yeah.
We don't have any corporate overlords.
So I think we mentioned it here on the show. You guys were talking about the fact that the paper cost, you thought it might be a little cheaper because it was the newspaper. It was not cheaper.
My comments came from when I was looking into this like years ago.
Okay. Because I always wondered why. Like, I understand that you want to improve the quality of paper for comics because that's just the way it is. But I figured if you wanted like a lesser comic, something that you can like showcase to kids or whatever, you could just go back to the lower grades of paper. It makes sense to me because I always thought the higher grades of paper was just because the collectors wanted it.
Well, it shows off a certain type of art too, right? Because let's face it, You know, you're not going to get those glossy tones and the different things that look nice in the newspaper strip. But this isn't that. You know, this is fold this up, put this in the back pocket. You know,
like the old comic.
Yeah, take it on an airplane with you. I think this is
even though people get upset when you did
it. That's my market right there. I want to get this on the newspaper stands at airports so that people can buy them and take them right on the news, right on the airplane, you know. So,
but yeah, as far as like, I remember being in meetings and going over the numbers of, okay, well, if it's an X book, it has to have the gold standard coloring, so it has to be this heavier stock. And yeah, I'm glad we don't have to make all those determinations, you know, like John's already got it set up. We got the paper stock, the printing that can handle the dark, spooky stuff, the color stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually, it's not the typical newsprint printing process on rolls. It's a laser printer.
Yeah,
but it's printing on newspaper stock. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually. I'm glad you asked about that, Ralph, because when you say newsprint, some people think, you know, the old newspapers. If we're going for like the feel and the love for old strips and comics,
so this is the quality,
of
what the paper will look like.
Yeah,
look at the color on there is fantastic.
Dude, that looks great. That looks amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and this is the size too, by the way. So this is just a sample page, but that's huge.
Yeah, because we're not the color strips. They have some nice rendering to them.
Go ahead, show it off one more time.
Full range of coloring.
Show it again? Okay. So here's a great part of it that has. I mean, look at that's a regular picture. And then if you go inside to the colors, that's a full page. So it really does look.
Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be, you know, we're not going around the corner to have this printed up. It's actually coming over from France. Now, believe me, everybody, I'm as patriotic as you get. I tried to find some place here in the U.S. who did as nice a job for the price, and we're still working on that, but not so much yet.
So it's more like the new style of newspapers, you know, with the nice colors and the beautiful pictures and stuff like that.
Yep. So.
Yeah, we're not limited as far as cover palette.
Full CYMK. Yep.
Digital coloring. Yeah, it's not no big color dots, you know.
I miss the color
dots.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we got there's a lot of other components on the back page. There'll be a full list of the upcoming Comic-Cons, the big Comic-Cons around the country. So we're going to list all of those.
That's a good idea because we've been discussing this for a while. Wish there was like one source where you can just go look at all the cons that was easy to handle. Because I feel like right now you can go find one of these places and go, oh, you plug it in and you look for a con, but it's like a really complicated thing. It's not like, you know, something simple.
Yeah.
Yep. We didn't talk. We're not completely heartless here and money making fools, but a good chunk of the proceeds are split up and go towards both the Hero Initiative and the Inkwell Award Scholarship. Yep. So that's kind of cool. You know,
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to, you know, they're good people. They're doing good things. So what's wrong with giving them a little chunk and hopefully, you know, it's mutually beneficial, you know. So,
well, that was a grabber for me because I donate artwork and do some charity things for both of those organizations. I mean, Bob Almond and his folks. It's great to be able to help some folks out.
Good people. Yep.
But I feel like all around you're doing that because even what you're doing here with showcasing certain artists and writers, it kind of helps them out because, either it showcases their personal passion projects,
Mhm.
or it showcases them, to a bigger audience.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have some stay-at-home comic artists here. We have people who just have normal, regular, everyday jobs that don't make their living, but they have a passion for their character, for their story, and they spend their weekends traveling to Comic Cons and trying to sell their book and everything. And they've got these great stories. They're really awesome. They just don't have a platform necessarily to reach a wide variety of people, because there's a lot of content out there. There really is. So, one of the reasons we did this is because it's different. It's not, we will stand out in a comic book store. We absolutely will.
You will stand out in a comic convention.
Well, every one of our artists, that's the nice thing. Our artists and our creators, our writers, about 32 of them, will have issues of the book with them.
Ooh, good thing.
And a little placard display, so that when they go to their shows, it'll be something people can they won't be able to buy a book on the spot. I can't get everybody. They don't want to be lugging that content around anyways, but they'll be able to scan a code and log right in. So
all right, here's my stack of newspapers.
Right.
Well, see, that goes back to what we were saying before. Now you intermarriage the online presence with the book presence. And when you're out there as a artist or writer and you're showcasing the thing, you go, well, check out the website, and then now you have all this interconnectivity.
That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my convention season starts April 1st. I'll be at the Lehigh Valley Comic Con. Great show, getting better and better each year. And I'll have some material, and I'll definitely be talking it up. I'm excited about it. Chris Ring will be there. He's doing an amazing Adventures of Alan Quatermain. Another classic. I love it when somebody.
I like me some Quatermain.
Yeah, I love it when somebody takes like a public domain thing and does something cool with it. And
the original Indiana Jones.
That's exactly what Chris is doing. It's looking good.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So yeah, who have we missed? I mean, there's so many people. I got to highlight one person. She's so great. She is a mom of a young kid. Okay, her name's Addie. Her name is Addie Kidd, oddly enough.
Oh, I know Addie Kidd. We know her here. Yeah.
You know Addie pretty well. Okay. Addie's just a sweetheart, and
she is. She's amazing.
Got a great artistic touch, a cartoony touch to her strip. It's a single panel strip called Spiffy. Really cool stuff. And so literally stuff for the entire family. I mean, Len Danovich and J.M. DeSantis came on, and they're doing something called The Beast. It's an actual noir, like a detective noir series. That's really cool. Matthew Hansel is doing Marty and Spud, which is very much has a vibe of Calvin and Hobbes, but equally as cool. Kenny Calderon and Juan Navarro, man. Oh, geez.
Kenny Calderon. Yeah.
I know Kenny. The Office Unicorn. So if you like The Office, if you liked Office Space, the movie, if you liked Parks and Rec or any of that satire type
good
stuff.
Comparisons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This has got that all over it pretty much. It's a unicorn and working in the office environment, and it's hysterical. You should have one in there.
Yeah, when I saw the panel where he introduced when the Office unicorn walks in, I mean, I'm a pretty jaded, fan, and I just that unicorn, the unicorn's face just kills me every time.
Dude, I gotta admit, when I saw this, I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, great looking stuff.
It's as gloriously sarcastic as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got here. Joseph says, "I'm very impressed and proud. You're going to go far. You guys have been getting some accolades here in the comment section.
Thank you.
Oh, very nice.
Wilson was like, congrats, join John and the team. then I think there was a couple other. Here we go. Congratulations, John, from Mike Wilson. And of course, we already saw Andrea, who said it. Congratulations from the beginning. Yeah, and
Thank
the
you,
numbers
thank
on the
you.
show, people are watching because they've been going up and down the whole time.
Excellent.
Well,
so there's people out there going, I think I need to check this out.
I'm telling you, and here's the funny thing: we're not intentionally not doing it justice, and it's hard to. When you hold this thing, I guarantee you're going to look at this thing and go, "This is beautiful."
Yeah,
like this is absolutely beautiful.
Dude, just looking at all the bits and pieces you have here, I'm already going, dude, this just looks stellar. You know,
well, I haven't even introduced you to Henshu yet.
There's still stuff you haven't even talked about.
Do you know who Henshu is?
Tell me.
Okay. Well, let me share Henshu with you. Henshu is our guide through this entire journey. Okay. He is, and I'm curious as to see what your thought is on where his inspiration came from. Okay. But this is Henshu. And what he does is he helps us navigate the entire paper through dialogue and advice and on the website.
I'm happy I figured it out.
Okay. You got to tell me, who do you think because he's a cross, he was inspired by two different characters. One is I would say an early 70s TV character, and the other one is an 80s cartoon character from Saturday morning cartoons.
Well, you know, I get Dungeon Master vibes, so
There you
Nailed
go.
it.
I love that D&D cartoon, so
Nailed it.
Yeah.
you
So
get
you get
these
the other
vibes right off the bat, and especially as a Dungeon Master myself, you know, I'm looking at this going, okay, this really feels like I'm connecting with it.
Nice. Good to hear.
Well, the other one was the sensei or the master from Kung Fu, the old David Carradine show.
Makes sense. Okay, I can see the connection.
Yep. Big fan. I wanted to show you this real quick. I'll come back to it. Just want you to see what a page looks like. And what I mean by that, I don't want to show too much content, but just so you know what. No, that's got a strip on it. I can't show you that.
It's also been fun because John and I talk about every day, and I'm like, well, how much do you want to show? How much do you want to preview? And I think John likes to keep his cards close to his vest, you know? And I'm like, well, keep in mind these days, I mean, you don't want to over preview, but don't be afraid to give them a nice chunk to get them going, you know?
So it's not just a regular white page too that you're going to be seeing. So if you look at this, so that's a blank page. Looks like parchment.
It does. It looks just like parchment.
Yeah.
Another cool thing on it too. See the page headers here?
Yeah.
And all our logos. These are hand painted by Eisner Award-winning artist Mark Wheatley.
Yeah.
He did all the branding.
Yeah, the logo, gorgeous stuff.
Yep.
And that's one of them too. It didn't schedule out for him, you know, as far as jumping in with a strip. But hey, you never know what's going to happen down the road.
Oh, I'm getting them next year. We're getting them next year. We're getting them. And I know what his strip's going to be too, because he pitched it. But so what I'm saying is every detail is being paid attention to. I'm not just slapping some stuff. Darren and I are not. I mean, I look at it, he looks at it twice, then I look at it, and then we overthink it 3 more times before.
That's good.
You know, how is this going to be received? What's it going to be like? There's little things in here that are ridiculously fun. So I've got a little icon of a joystick, an Atari. Sorry if you're listening, Atari. It is not an Atari joystick. It is a joystick from the 80s that has nothing to do with you. Anyways.
I think Atari is happy to be mentioned.
Fair. Maybe I should call.
Nobody knows us.
What are you, Donkey Kong over there?
Somebody, no, yeah, you got to talk about it.
But anyways, that. See, now if we could buy the rights and do comic strips based on old arcade games, I'm in.
Dude, I love those old arcade games.
So that little joystick in various sizes, very small, will be hidden 15 different places in the entire newspaper. So you'll have to go through and find it and circle it and figure out if you can find all 15. So it's little stuff like that.
I like those little games. It's like
makes
hidden Mickey.
Fun. Yeah.
And again, it's like those little cameos we were talking about before. It's all this fun. It's the fun of old comics. Yeah. It's that stuff that's been forgotten. People go, nobody likes those things anymore.
I got to show you an inspiration for a lot of the stuff.
The activity book. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Right? So what we're doing is we're putting mazes, we're putting crosswords, code scramblers, all this kind of stuff with obviously our own characters, right? And that's going to be a part of it because I just thought it was too important of a vibe not to have.
That's definitely, and that's what it does feel like. It feels like it does feel like newspapers, the way newspapers used to be, where you had a bunch of other stuff other than news in the newspaper to keep you busy. Crossword puzzles and other games and comics everywhere. Sometimes you had the regular comic strips. Sometimes there'll be little comic strips in the middle of the newspaper somewhere. It was fun. It was fun to find all this stuff. Christina Garlic says, love this idea, a comic strip featuring old video games.
Let's make it happen. Does anybody know somebody at Coleco? Let's start there.
That's it, John. I'm going to pitch you a Pong strip. That,
we'll go back and forth about it.
It would just be pinging each way, right? Yeah, we're old folks and we have fun. What do you want?
Yeah, right.
That's great.
Oh my! This is like right up. I have to say, as a Gen Xer, this is like right up the alley. This is just exactly what we did growing up as kids. You're right. Saturday morning cartoons. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
There's a little bit of.
Woo.
This is the original. Just a little promo piece. This is the guy I mentioned before. This is Samuel Price. Yes, he's somehow related to Vincent Price.
Well, I love noir feel, and that felt noir.
Yeah. We're trying to go spooky with it. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I mean, and I haven't even gotten into what Scott Hanna's doing.
Oh.
I mean, it's going to blow your mind.
I mean, come on, folks. We got the guy who's working on Spider-Man doing a strip for us.
Yeah. I mean, really. And then, again, Bill Morrison and Riley Brown's stuff is just incredible. One of the funniest ones we have, Scott Benefiel did a strip years ago called Cork, and it is hilariously sarcastic. It's about a wood nymph. Yeah, that's the one you got right there in front of you, the Beast. That one there. So that's Len Danovich. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's that noir detective.
Yeah. Dude, this whole newspaper just feels like right up my alley. Noir detective. Dude, my favorite Batman was Chuck Dixon Batman, which was a whole other thing. And people don't understand that anymore.
I hit Chuck up actually about this. Now, keep in mind, I don't begrudge anybody for not giving me the time of day because who am I? But I was trying to hook up, I think it was with Frank Fosco, who had done some stuff with Chuck. And I was trying to make early on, this is before we got a ton of people on board, and I just couldn't do it. But so Chuck, answer my calls. So
dude, Riley Brown, Anthony says Riley Brown rules. Very cool in person.
Yeah, Anthony, you're right there.
Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy, really down to earth.
And of course, Anthony says Chuck Dixon had the definitive Nightwing run too. Yeah, he did.
Sure did.
Chuck did a
Good
good job
stuff.
with all those back characters.
Oh no, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Yep. Who else are we missing here? Davy Jones does a little one called Charmy's Army. It's about some ants, and it's just it's the fun. Look, all you adults out there, hardcore comic guys are out there thinking, yeah, we want this, we want this. You're gonna laugh. You are gonna giggle under your breath, and then you're gonna look around, seeing if your wife caught you giggling at this little kid's cartoon because it was so funny. I'm telling you right now, it's great stuff.
And as far as mixing it up too, the lizard strip, when I first saw the lizard stuff you had in the file, it really it reminded me of early heavy metal magazine.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Which is high praise, and just, to give, and that cork strip is beautiful. It's fantasy.
I can give them a little taste of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's a gorgeous strip, and from what I've read so far, this wood nymph is going into modern civilization. So you're going to have a really hilarious, like, Stranger in a Strange Land setup with it.
She just got herself and a 3-day-old cheese and pancake sandwich.
Dude, I like that.
Right? And she befriends a hamster who delivers pizzas. So this is John Holland. Woo. Now, let me tell you some cool things about this. Look at next to the credits. That says 86. Whoa. This strip was originally published in 1986. Art Wilbur, or I think it's actually Wilbur, I don't know his first name, has passed away since. So the artist has passed away. But I love this stuff so much. It was so good that now he had continued on the strip with other artists, but we went back to the original source material and started piecing it together. He had it edited and colored, and it's just this endearing, and this isn't even colored, but it is just, the backgrounds are really cool. There's a lot of detail to it. It's just cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
and I see what you mean about bringing stuff back from before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just you want to. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with going back. It's not broke,
No, it's not broke.
People are yearning for some of that stuff.
Yeah, and with that strip, even with the world building, you get I like, John, how you described it as endearing, because you have a nice interaction between the younger generation and the older generation that is just so well done. It comes across as real.
Well, I guess I should tell you the premise of it. And basically what it is there's a teenage boy who really wants to fly. Okay. He's a lizard, and his father has the belief that lizards were meant to fly, that they're descendants from dragons. They should fly naturally. Like, it's their destiny to fly naturally. The son's like, well, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not waiting for it. I'm going to build all these mechanics to go ahead and do it.
I've gotten myself in trouble for stuff like that.
So he keeps on getting in trouble for that. And his dad gets mad at him for bypassing what he believes is the natural ability to fly for building these mechanical machines. And it turns out really cool. It's pretty neat.
It sounds really cool. Kind of reminds me of Icarus.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic story. Don't fly too close to the sun.
Yeah. Oh, bring up the Merry Monster promo.
Oh, yeah. Jay Fife.
Yeah, because Jay's got a really cool monster fighter character going.
I gotta admit, that Merry Monster name just caught my attention.
Yeah, ain't that great?
There it goes.
I can show you some art on Mary too. Yeah, that one's a small one.
The logo alone looks interesting.
Well, here I got a really cool promo tag for Mary here. I'll share that.
My guys are like, hey, it's Anthony, ha ha ha, because I keep calling him Anthony instead of calling him Roaming Tony like I usually call.
His secret identity.
Anthony twice. Speaking of the crew, Jordan's been waiting here on the side patiently. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Hagar is one of the crew. He hangs out with the rest of us. I think all the guys were busy tonight, and I think Hagar was able to finally show up.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, welcome. Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah.
I can respect anybody with the name Chunky Kong.
There's a story on that one. We'll get to that.
Sounds like one of the video game comics we ought to be doing.
Exactly.
You're not too far off.
Oh man, dude, you guys really got something here. Like I can't say more. Like I told you before. Like the reason I hit you up was I ran into your project, and I was like, what is this? This looks interesting. I need to bring him on the show and talk about this.
I appreciate it.
You see the Mary there?
There it is.
Like that's Mary Monster.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
So Mary is she's a genetically enhanced woman helping fight Marines or fight with Marines against a monster influx. Think kind of like you know how what was it? Pacific Rim.
Right.
When they had all the kaiju. So monsters are kind of invading the earth, and they engineered to help with the problem. So it's a lot of action, you know what I mean? And it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and he like you said, a lot of action. Jay started with a bang. It reminded me of an old Marvel comic where, you know, the first panel was just explosive, you know.
Yep.
It's funny because I'm looking at this and I was thinking of 80s comics. It has that feel to it, but there's something modern to it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's good to like see like that. There's a modern feel to it.
Yeah. Well, Jay's an incredible artist. He really he did a painting for me of Godzilla. He does monsters as good as anybody that I've ever seen. I mean, really reminiscent of like Mike Plug, and just does some excellent stuff.
Yeah, really great looking women too. I mean, you saw some there.
Exactly.
We're all allergic to that.
Cindy, speaking of women, says, "Congratulations, John." Dude, you guys got a lot of supporters here. They're popping up. They're saying hi, and there's some silent people there because these numbers I'm looking at have been impressive.
Good.
So you're getting a good amount of looky at your bookie.
Oh, now we need a good amount of ordery.
Exactly. So looking at the website here, where now that it's up, and it was all the stuff you were telling me before behind the scenes. There's the artists, the origin story, how to contact you. There's all these little things showing off the logos for each book. You got the beautiful video by Rob Powers here going on. And at the bottom, you got the stuff that was on the screen before that helps you find out more and more about the book.
Yep.
And so you're on here and you want to buy so you can also log in and subscribe.
So what it's going to allow you to do once you subscribe is you'll have your own login, right?
Right.
And after we mail out the first book, we're going to have a section in there that if you're a subscriber, you can log in, and you can also say you subscribed into issue 2 or 3.
Right.
And you want to go up and read some of the backstories. You'll have access to all the past digital content.
So you can actually buy it as a single issue at a time. That's a pretty okay. That's pretty good. So that means that if you just want to try it out to see how it's going to come out, you can actually get the single issue.
Yep. I tell you what, with shipping and everything, you save money by far by just buying the year. And I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you, I guarantee you won't.
And
it's funny that you're saying that because my first thought was like, I'd rather just get the whole year and see what happens.
And as storytellers, I think what we strive to do is, this is for the most part, these are ongoing stories, Even the humor stuff, so far it looks like it's a continued story, which, you know, I love those finishing up an episode with a cliffhanger and coming back for more the next episode. That's what I like as a reader, and I think we were lucky enough to snag a lot of that type of storytelling for the project.
Yeah, and since this has started to get big, there have been people that are like, put me on your list for next year. This started out as 8 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at 16 pages.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a nice thick book. That's what you want. You want something nice that you can put your hands into, have fun with, enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
16 pages, all color except for the horror section, both sides. Yeah.
And you have puzzles and games and coloring. Dude, this is just like a great reason to buy, man.
Yeah. And it was fun, like my conversation with Scott Hanna. I explained it to him. We're just trying to get this off the ground. And he's like, well, what kind of stuff are you looking at doing? I said, what do you want to do? And that, we storytellers, we always love to hear that, And I said, we're starting something here. Maybe you got a pitch that you kind of had rolling and you don't have it quite figured out. That's what I'm doing with mine. I'm kind of building it as we go,
Great way to go.
And the best thing about it is the artists, we've been able to do this because it's not a heavy lift. 7 strips over an entire year does not pull anybody off of another big project.
Exactly.
So it's a great, think of this as a movie trailer for somebody who's got a big IP, right? Like I'm telling you right now, and I'd call it if Scott Hanna, Riley Brown, some of these other guys, Tony Harris, don't take these stories that they put in our paper and make full-blown books out of them, or heck, I'd watch the movie, then they're crazy because it's just incredible. It's some of the best stuff anywhere. It's really good. Yeah.
It is. It's great. I see we're at the mark here for our time. I'm happy you guys brought this on and I got a chance to show it off. Like I said, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm interested. I need to have him on. I know Phil wanted to talk to you about being on his show too.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing the media rounds, if you will, now that it's up. We've just also had a meeting with Barnes and Noble. So
nice.
We'll see. They want to see what we've got, but that could be monstrous.
That could be monstrous. Barnes and Noble's that alone could help you out big time.
Well, you know what? So they don't sell comic books, but they do publications. They do newspapers.
They do. Yeah.
So we kind of cross genre, all that stuff.
That's the only place I can find my magazines now. Speaking of magazines,
yeah.
or any of this type of newspaper stuff, it's in Barnes and Nobles. It's gotten hard to find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Newsstands actually don't sell news stuff. So okay, they want to go find you. They want to check you out. Where can they get all the stuff? Give them all the spiel on where they can go get things.
Okay, real simple. akidinacomic.com, all one word, really simple. And the same on both Instagram with underscores between it and on Facebook. Very easily searchable. There shouldn't be an easy a problem finding us anywhere. Go ahead and spread the word. Go ahead and if you could, follow and subscribe to us. And if we'll be continuing to have interacting videos and explaining stories. And this isn't going to be like, here's our link, buy stuff. We're going to interact with the fans. We're going to talk to you. We're going to if you've got a favorite artist that nobody knows about and you're like, this would be perfect, we want to know about it.
Yeah. We definitely want to interact. And it's all about, it really is all about like firing up that kid inside. This isn't just stuff for kids. This is bringing back that feeling we had when we were kids. That's really why we're trying to do this,
I did put the link into the comment section. So if you guys are there in the comment section, you can actually go follow the link to the subscription and get yourself your own subscription. And
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for having us.
Darren, you want to tell them where they can find you yourself, and all your stuff and the plethora of things that you do?
Oh, well, my stuff, I'm very active on Facebook. A lot of my clients and editors and art directors, they kind of shocked me because years ago I'm like, Facebook, I don't care about what people have for dinner, but
But it used to be.
now it is the thing. I'll update when I get a site up and running. I start it and then I don't like it, and but you can reach out to me on Facebook, and that's how I do most of my connecting these days.
Cool.
And I post stuff constantly. And when this gets published, I'll post some more teasers on it. And if you Google my name, you'll see stuff I did back in 1948. I'm that old.
Lots of good stuff. Yeah,
thanks, man.
Go check Darren out. You'll be pleasantly surprised, or maybe just happy you did.
And guys, seriously, if you have an idea for a gift or a commission, anything at all, no idea too weird, I could probably help you out. Okay.
Definitely. And we all know about commissions and stuff like that, and we've heard the stories of the weird commissions.
Darren draws great latex.
All right, man. So Darren,
I'm not going to start this.
That's
so
a
Jordan,
different
what's
story.
up? What do you got to showcase here?
Hey,
look, man. Even a kid in the comics is like, awesome.
Hey!
I put a bunch of links in the
thingy.
Yep.
I see the thingy. I'll start off with Crossbone Scully. Go ahead, talk.
So this is a work of Source Point Press, Joshua Werner, and I didn't get it right Monday, so I want to say Tommy Hendrickson.
Dude, it's an amazing little project here. I can't believe they got all these musicians or music people to be a part of this.
Alice Cooper's involved.
Badass.
Alice Cooper's involved.
Nice.
Johnny Depp's involved.
A couple months ago.
Johnny Depp is involved. There's a lot, but
I'll play all the video here. Let's see what happens if it plays.
Oh, it's perfect.
Welcome, humans. I am Crossbone Scully. Throughout all of my travels across space and time, my fondness for Earth, its people, its music, its parties, has only grown. That is why I'm here now to warn you of the future and battle to come. The tale has been chronicled in this story that we call King Number 1. The massive sci-fi rock and roll epic multimedia product is Crossbone Scully. It's touching every corner of the entertainment industry. From the album Evil War Machine with Tommy Hendrickson, Tommy Demander, Jamie Mahoney, Chris Wise, and Glenn Sullivan, featuring Phil Collins and Nikki Sixx, to the animated film by Rodney Donahue, starring Johnny Depp, Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, Nikki Sixx, Jane Roberts, and Cheryl Cooper. Now, for the first time, you can read the full story in this Kickstarter exclusive deluxe edition comic book of Crossbone Scully, King Number 1. Written by Joshua Werner and legendary musician Tommy Hendrickson. art by Stan Yank. Colors by Colin Johnson. And lettering and design by Dave Wentz. Back the campaign today. We must gather the alien nations, stop the source from destroying the world. Support my campaign so this story may be told. Earth needs to know what is coming.
Looks great. Looks a lot of
It
fun.
does. It's fantastic.
I think that's good.
I'm getting more and more impressed at the videos people are putting together to show off their Kickstarters.
I think that's one of the smoothest videos ever played on here.
Actually, everything's been good today. Knock on wood. And I think it's just the energy these guys have brought with a kid in a comic.
Well, we appreciate you having us.
Oh, dude, anytime. Let me actually show off the video one more time for you guys.
All right.
Let's see. Share screen. Of course, the video is not there. Where did it go? Again, like I said, you gotta love live anything. And let's see, countdown video, Dime Store Detective. Nope. Where are you, Mr. Downloads? Oh, there it is. High quality. All right, computer. I know I gave you a compliment, but stop messing with me. Computer's like, you gave me a compliment. That's it. It's over. All right, now I can share this. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Media player, share. And let's rock.
Change is always happening, every day. But I think we can agree not all change is good. It seems being an adult consumes us. And being a kid is just less kid. Introducing A Kid in a Comic, where we give you a gateway to a time when Saturday mornings were for cartoons, and Sundays meant the newspaper funnies. A Kid in a Comic is a subscription-based newspaper. That's right, a real newspaper, delivered to your door and your comic shop, filled with nothing but comic strips. Some of your favorite comic book artists have gotten together to tell their own stories with original art in this all-new creator-owned format. Just so you know our heart's in the right place, a portion of every subscription goes to the Hero Initiative and Inkwell Award Scholarship. Do you collect comics? Is this your reaction when your new book gets a little crease in it? Well, I think your 10-year-old self has an opinion of that. Kid in a Comic is meant to be read, with puzzles and games meant to be written on and art panels meant to be colored. Take it on a car ride, plane ride, or, well, you know. Side effects may include uncontrollable laughing, smiling, spooky scares, and an unexpected need to watch cartoons. A Kid in a Comic Inc. is not responsible for repercussions resulting in childish behavior, excessive referencing, or antics your old body can no longer handle.
There you have it, folks. Amazing video put together by our favorite Pinguino's Revenge man, Rob Howard himself.
Yeah, big shout out to Rob. Did a great job on that.
Yeah, great stuff.
Like I was just saying, speaking of videos, dude, I'm just amazed at the videos people are putting together now. And Rob does a great job with them.
All right, boys. Well, thank you so much for having us on. I appreciate the time and the, letting us chat with you. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
you guys are welcome anytime you want to come on, geek out with the geeks, and talk about your nice, beautiful newspaper.
Hey, thanks again, and nice meeting you guys.
Yep.
You take
All
care.
right, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, later.
Let's see. There we go. All right, so what's the next thing over here? You got the 4 colors.
Yep.
Is it out yet, or are we just looking at the?
It's out now.
All right. Did you figure out what it is yet?
Yep.
So start talking while I put it up.
So ash cans, you know them. love them or I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't like them, but basically, if you don't know what an ash can is, it's a preview of a comic, usually anywhere from 4 to 8 pages. So this is collecting all of the ash cans that Garrett, Christina, Dave, and Kit did into one big book. I'm sure there's more to it than that, maybe, because it does say 180 some pages.
Dude, it's funny because I grew up with ash cans. It's one of those things you tried to find when we were younger. It's interesting that they're doing an ash can type thing because they've not much of a thing anymore. But I know Source Point has been pretty good at pulling out some ash cans. I'm not sure where they're pulling them out from, but they've been pretty good at pulling them out.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a nice book of ash cans, and you can actually, so it's pretty much of a preview of a lot of the good stuff that's out already.
Yep.
Which is pretty good. Let's see what we got so far. I think they're doing well already.
Yeah, they're already halfway.
They have hold on a second here. They have 3,187, 47 backers, 12 days to go. They're trying to get to 5,400. It looks like they're pretty much almost there.
Yep.
So what's the next thing that you got? Okay, well, let me see. We got this is the same thing, 4 colors. All right, and and a marathon.
Actually, that 4 color thing is different.
It's a different thing.
Yep.
So what's this thing?
Garrett started a fan club type thing. Basically, you sign up, you get some free stuff sent to you. You get your own members card and stuff.
Right.
Every time you refer someone to it, back a Kickstarter, what have you, you get points. You can redeem the points for neat stuff like a 1-of-1 book if you wanted it.
Nice.
Metal covers, collectible coin, shirts, pins. So it's neat.
That's an interesting thing. Yeah, I think you should go check it out. It's pretty good. Because Nat coming on now.
Let's go. I made it on.
Good job, buddy.
Okay, and the other thing we got over here is
we have all these comments to read.
Yeah, you were saying some interesting stuff, but it had nothing to do with the show.
It had everything to do with the show.
It had nothing.
I don't know. I saw one in particular. I'm like,
And I mean, like, I was trying to find something that I could put up of yours that had anything to do with what we were talking about, and I was like, damn, he missed the whole thing.
It had everything to do with the show. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think the closest one that we got to having anything to do with the show, and I almost put it up, but I think we were talking about something else by that point. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Comic trades are still trading paper notes. They just have different faces on them.
Exactly.
That's the closest you got to it.
So
exactly.
Let me get to this now, since we have it up on screen.
Go for it, Mr. Hagar.
Next week, Saturday, Sunday, March 25th, 26th, 8 a.m. to midnight, and then 8 a.m. to 5 or
6 p.m.
6. Anna Marathon, Bowling Green, Ohio. I will be there. I will be running a panel Saturday night about Chunky Kong.
Do I need to reserve a seat for it?
Probably. Every year it gets packed.
Answers finally about what's really happening in this world ever since they killed Mrimbe.
Yep. I'll be there. Dirk Manning will be there. Speaking of Dirk Manning,
of course, Cthulhu Jr. I got my Cthulhu Jr. It's over there sitting in its box. waiting for me to get a chance to see it.
And then
because my Pinguino's Revenge is right now in the prime spot.
and then I got
Ralph,
another.
did you know that book spines aren't called that because they support the pages? They're called spines because they are the axis on which they bend.
Very good. So then I got a thing from USPS this morning too, also coming from SourcePoint. And I'm like, what is this? Messaged Garrett, and he's like, oh yeah, the plushies came in this morning, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you forgot you bought the plushie?
No, I knew I got it, but Dirk said they were still on the boat like 2 days ago.
It makes sense. A lot of stuff is still on the boat.
But all of a sudden they magically showed up this morning. So
yeah, the life we're living in after the pandemic.
And then a Kickstarter I backed 2 years ago is finally on its way.
It happens sometimes. Sometimes
Good
it takes
job.
a while to get something done.
It's a big name card game, so yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Well, you mean you got the card game because it's a video game.
Well, I don't have the actual card game yet. But anyway.
Exactly. See, this is why you gotta love the idea. A comic strip featuring old video games.
Hagar's horrible.
Yep, that's me.
Oh man. You know what? Hagar's horrible is just Jordan's horrible's opinions.
Nope.
Ralph is just short for Raphael.
Yeah. You
Enrique is Spanish for Henry. Flushmallow is just Shen's persona.
Yeah, this is what we put up here.
So
Nathan,
next week is going to be a very fun week for me with who we have.
Man, you're just spoiling it for all those viewers already.
Monday, be here for Rich Davis as we start talking about things like Prometheus and, of course, Dracula.
And then Wednesday,
you can tell them who's here Wednesday.
I got Garrett Gunn to get on the show to talk about Kickstarters and whatever else he feels like.
Sounds like some geeking out time, and it also sounds like SourcePoint Press Week next week.
Yep.
It also sounds like we're talking about Pokemon and how it's short for Pocket Monsters. Digimon is short for Digital Monsters. But Yu-Gi-Oh is not short for anything.
Nope.
Oh my God. Folks, do yourself a favor. Go check out our pal Hagar here at Animatron.
Animarathon.
There you go. And he'll be there with Dirk Manning and the rest of the guys. And make sure to check out his Chunky Kong panel because you're going to want to be there.
Yep. It's going to fill up.
Of course, if you can't be there, Jordan will be putting stuff up on the Facebook page all weekend, I guess, whenever he's there.
Yep. I'll be experiencing Waffle House for the first time Friday.
Oh, so you're about to go get some kung fu fighting in, huh?
Yep.
Because that's what happens when you go to the Waffle House. You kung fu fight.
Yep.
Man, we fighting at the Waffle House again?
Apparently.
That's how it
Let's
works.
go.
Bro.
Yo, I'm taking the hot sauce.
Hot diggity, man. Hot diggity. Let's see what we got up here. I think we're pretty much done.
Did you know that tea applesauce is just short for Talopsis?
Talopsis. Yeah, my computer's beginning to slow down. I had a feeling it was running way too well for too long.
Train.
Yep.
All right, folks, there you have it. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed our little thing today. Of course, make sure that you head off to A Kid in a Comic and subscribe and get yourself your own Kid in a Comic newspaper, which sounds like it's a lot of fun. As you heard today, they have a bunch of, or a plethora, I'd like to say, of things for you to check out and have fun with. That's a lot of stuff, folks. So there you have it. Unless Nat has something to add to this besides all the little bits and pieces that he's already talked about.
Well, News is just an abbreviation for new events witnessed and sentenced.
That's what I thought I was going to do. Oh my God. Well, there you have it, folks. Usually I do some quirky comment and sign off, but I'm gonna do a kid in a comic a favor, and I'm gonna play their video as we leave.
Only 1 in 5 numbers are divisible by 5.
You all joined us to have some fun, geek out, and listen to crazy nat theories.
These aren't theories, these are facts.
With that, adios, amigos.
We're still here.
Of course